The 2014 Men's Senior Baseball League's World Series is on the air on APN Sports, and today, the Dallas Orioles and the South Bay Zephyrs, two teams with no love lost, and it's a rematch of a playoff game last year that ended in controversy. And I'm Jeff Lowry, APN Video Sports, apnvideo.com. Glad you could join us. Both teams here today in this morning championship of the 55 and over Cactus Division are undefeated at 8 wins and no losses. I talked to a member of both teams before the game.
Well, I am trying my best, and we had a little nickname. If everything works, if I can end up getting a championship, maybe we'd call the Zephyrs King of the Cactus Division. And nice little funny name, but hopefully we can do our job out here.
Talk about Pete Cesario here today, your starting pitcher. He was a workhorse in the semis and the quarterfinals. Tell us a little bit about him.
Oh yeah, Pete and I, we go a long ways back. We played with each other, with and against each other, probably since 2003. So I've known Pete for a long time. And this year he is an absolute workhorse. I mean, what he did in the semifinals to close it out the last 3 innings, and then pitch. Oh, that was the quarterfinals, and then pitch the entire semifinals, all 9 innings. Maybe he's our version from San Francisco. Maybe he's just like their pitcher that just won't come out. I'm hoping he can give us that. Give us what we need in the finals.
How do you feel going into today's game? This is a tough team. You're both 8-0.
Oh yeah. Well, we knew this was going to happen. We figured it's going to happen. They have a good team. We have a good team. We both went through, I'm sure, a little trials and tribulation, but we believe that from the beginning that we were going to see this team.
The Orioles are a great group of guys. We've been playing mostly together for, gosh, as long as I can remember. I think some of us came out here and played the 28 and over. If you can, now we're in the 55. Gives you an idea. Mark Moore has kind of been the general here. He's kept this team together. He knows his plays. He knows his players. Keeps us in order. Keeps us looking good. And that's half the battle. Mark is also a great guy, great family man, great grandfather, and makes us really feel like we're a team when we're out here.
Well, we'd like to thank Jerry Mecca and Antone Henley for joining us before the game. You're getting a look at the right-hander, and he is a workhorse, and that's Pete Cesario, longtime Msbl World Series competitor. And John Hanley will start it off, the catcher. And the first pitch of this 55 Cactus Division Championship game is a called strike, and this game is underway. Our game time temperature of pleasant 74 degrees from the winter home of the Milwaukee Brewers. The next pitch is swung on and fouled straight back, and it's no balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter. Cesario goes into the wind, and the fastball is high, 1-2. Well, it's amazing. You got two teams battling for 55 Cactus national supremacy here, and both teams are undefeated. In fact, when you talk about the runs allowed, I guess only 2 runs separated these two teams. So when you talk about, at least on paper, and I know it doesn't mean anything on paper, doesn't mean anything in a championship game, as this one's bounced foul to the right side. These two teams very evenly matched. And we mentioned there's there's no love lost between these two teams. They got into a playoff game deep in the playoffs last year. There was a controversy over an eligibility or something. We really didn't want to get into this too much, as that's strike 3 swinging, and it looks like Hanley's going to make it to first without a throw. But something to do with one of the players. They felt like he shouldn't have been there or what have you. And it just caused a rift between these two teams. So no love lost. This should be a battle, and you're going to have two teams jawing at each other probably for the next 3 hours. No score, top of the first. Orioles got a pretty good lineup. They've got some outstanding players at the top of their order, including this guy. He's got a runner at first, and they'll throw over there, and diving back is Hanley. It's rare to see as the runner goes, and that is going to be a stolen base. So Hanley steals second. I was just going to say it's rare to see a catcher leading off, let alone stealing bases. So 2 balls and 1 strike is the count on Hector Villanueva. And now time has been called as Pete Cesario, with a runner at second base, got on via a strikeout and a wild pitch or pass ball. They still haven't given us the official ruling on that. So you got a runner at second base, nobody out. 2-1 to Hector Villanueva, and he's bunting third base side, and a good one. And they thought about going to third, and the throw on to first, not in time. That slight hesitation cost the Zephyrs. So Dallas has something going here in the top half of the first inning. And now Mike Baskerville will be the hitter, third place hitter in the lineup. And the first pitch is a letter-high fastball called strike, and it's 0-1. 55 and over, age group Cactus Championship. 2 great rivals, Dallas and South Bay. And Pete will throw back to the bag at second base, not in time. Good tag out there. Taylor at second base. Here's a smash down the line off the glove of Blackburn. And that is going to be an infield hit, and the bases are loaded. Randy Lash, the cleanup hitter, and he's hoping to fulfill that spot here as he's got the bases loaded and nobody out. We're in the top of the first inning. Give you the defense for the Zephyrs here in a moment. Pete Cesario, who pitched a total of 12 innings in yesterday's 2 playoff games. Both teams, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, coming in here with a record of 8 wins, no losses. If you go by total runs, the Zephyrs got the #1 seed because they outscored or had a run differential 2 better than their opponent Dallas. Fly ball, deep left field. Adams giving a chase. He can't get there, and he's going to be in for extra bases. Randy Lash drives in 2, and the Orioles draw first blood and lead it 2-0. So Randy Lash really gave that ball a ride to deep left field. Adams had a long ways to go, but in the end, they hold Randy Lash to a long single. Here's a hard hit ball hit to Taylor. He'll go to Scott, the shortstop, throw to first. Pulls the first baseman off the bag, and the runner is safe. So now runners are at first and third, and that's going to bring up the manager of the Dallas Orioles. And that's Mark Moore. 2 runs in here in the first inning. 55 and over Cactus Division Championship game on APN Sports. Sponsored by MSBLNational.com. First pitch to the manager, and he bunts one out in front of the plate. Pete's up with it. He'll throw him out at first base. And Moore claiming that the first baseman for the Zephyrs, Dan Gutierrez, was off the bag. So the manager doing what a manager you would think a player manager would do for his team. He gave himself up. There was 1 out in the inning, and he was bunting. There was already a runner at third, but he moves that other runner up into scoring position. And now Jerry Mecca out of Dallas, Texas, will stand in. 2-0 Orioles here in the top of the first, and the curve catches the outside corner for a called strike. Mecca hitting in the 7th position, but don't be fooled. Outside fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike to Jerry. Well, the inning started off. Hanley reached first base when the ball got away from the catcher on a 3rd strike. A fielder's choice. A pair of singles, including a 2-run single by Randy Lash to deep left field, plating both Hanley and Villanueva. And you're caught up, 2 out, 2nd and 3rd. And that's outside for a ball. Defensively for the Zephyrs, you got Hamill behind the plate with Cesario on the mound. Gutierrez at first, Taylor second, Hall at short, Blackburn at third. Sam Adams at left, Bird in center. He's a speedster, and Henley can run pretty well too. That one gets away from the catcher, and no advancement of the runners. Strike 3 called. Thought it was ball 4, headed down the first, and Mecca is retired, but the damage was done to the tune of 2 runs on 2 hits. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. First time up for the Zephyrs, trailing 2-0. Welcome back to Maryvale Ballpark. And there's a look at our starting pitcher for the Orioles, Rick Allwater. And a left-handed thrower, and he'll be facing Antone Henley to start things off. Gutierrez and Blackburn. And those are the first 3 for the Zephyrs here in the home half of the first inning. A beautiful day, 70 degrees, our game time temperature here in Maryvale. Allwater's first pitch, and a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Antone Henley. Well, one of the keys to beating South Bay, you got to keep this guy contained. He has a big day. This team's going to score a lot of runs. The 0-1 pitch, and a chopper down to third, but foul, and it's quickly 0-2 on Antone. Antone admitted to me last night after the doubleheader sweep of the semi and the quarterfinals yesterday, as that one's inside 1-2, that he was pretty tired. He was hoping those legs would bounce back, and he said this morning it's game time and it's on. And he is ready to go. And he's the leadoff hitter and right fielder for the Zephyrs. And he's also the manager of the Zephyrs. The 1-2 pitch. That's high, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The umpires calling balls and strikes today is Ron Hudson. Roy Giusti is at first base, and Tim Davis is at third. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the South Bay leadoff hitter. South Bay kind of makes up that Redondo Beach area. Pitch. Chopper towards the shortstop. Nice job on the backhand. And the throw takes the first baseman off the bag, but they get Antone anyway. 1 down. Dan Gutierrez, left-handed hitting first baseman, now digs in. Defensively, you got Harris at first, Thrall at second, Lash is at shortstop, and Coleman is at third base. And the first pitch to Gutierrez is in there for ball 1. Left, center, and right, it goes Villanueva, Mark Hensley, Dave Husky with Hanley doing the catching. Rick Allwater on the mound with 1 out, nobody on. Bottom half of the first inning. The Orioles put 2 runs up on the board and lead it 2-0 when they batted in the top of this first inning. Maryvale Ballpark is the winter home of the Milwaukee Brewers and has been since 1998. That one is high and tight. Orioles played in that championship game last year, and they're hoping to reverse some of the misfortunes they had last year. Apparently, I was reminded that they had left a lot of runners on base, and apparently on our broadcast I mentioned it a few times. But even though they left 2 runners on base in the first inning here, they did get 2 in. That one is out of play, and Gutierrez is hanging tough, lefty on lefty. It's an absolutely gorgeous morning for our national pastime, the Msbl World Series here on APN. 2-strike pitch, and he struck him out. Looked like just a straight change, and there's quickly 2 down in the Zep for first. I'll bring up the hard-hitting Dave Blackburn. Allwater's first pitch to Blackburn, and a strike called on the outside corner, 0-1. So he's doing a good job of getting ahead of the hitters here in inning number 1. Nobody on with 2 out. We're in the home half of the first inning, and a 2-0 lead for the team in orange. And apparently Blackburn was grazed on that last pitch, so he heads down to first base runner of the day for the Zephyrs. Well, here's the shortstop, Scott Hall, who now represents a tying run for South Bay here in the first inning. Another throw over the first. Blackburn not off the bag very far. Well, Scott is in that cleanup position here tonight, here this morning. And they're hoping to get some runs out of him. Another throw over to first, and apparently they are intimidated by the speed of Dave Blackburn at first base. 2-0 lead for the Orioles here in the home half of the first inning. First pitch to the shortstop, and it's high and away, ball one. Outfield playing shallow and right, deep to left, deep to center. Not quite straight away. 2-out runner at first. And that one's hammered down the left field line, and a fair ball. That one's going to rattle down into the corner. Here comes Blackburn to third base, and that'll be a double for Hall. So the Zephyrs, who came to the plate here in the first inning, the first two retired, but since then Blackburn reached either on a hit batsman or catcher's interference. And Scott Hall, a ringing double down the left field line. He's at second. And the extremely fast Noah Burt, the center fielder, and he swings and he misses. He tried to pull a pitch that was off the outside corner, and it's 0-1. He represents the go-ahead run. The tying run is at second base for the Zephyrs. They trail 2-0. Burt, who had an inside-the-park home run a couple of nights ago in a game at Tempe Diablo, and he pops it up on the infield, all water. He gives way to the first baseman, and neither one of them makes the catch. And the Zephyrs, as the Zephyrs score, making it 2-1. Well, some miscommunication between the first baseman and the pitcher, and now there's a discussion between the Orioles and one of the base umpires, and Tim Davis. Now Don Collie, and a line drive into right field, a base hit, and this game is tied. Norm Burt races all the way to third base, and an RBI single for Don Collie. So now Frank Phillips takes in the dirt, ball one. Slight breeze. Kind of hard to tell which way that breeze is blowing. I would imagine by the trees out in left center, or down the left field line, that it might be blowing. Looks like it might be blowing towards that left field foul pole. Of course, Frank is one of three brothers here in attendance. Of course, Antone Henley and Otis Henley. Frank changed his name years ago, lives in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. And there goes the runner down to second. There'll be no throw. And that'll be an easy stolen base for courtesy runner. And speak of the devil, Antone Henley. So let's see if the big hurt and Frank Phillips can do some more damage in a 2-2 tie. And he had another good cut and fouled it back. Ready with the two-strike pitch. Just got a piece of it and hangs tough. So Phillips up there with 2 strikes and 2 on. And a ball hit into right field. That's a base hit. The lead run will score. Henley puts on the brakes, heads back to third as the throw comes all the way in. And Frank Phillips comes through. He goes opposite field, a very good piece of hitting. And the Zephyrs have put 3 up on the board and have taken a 3-2 lead. So with Sam Adams coming up, the Zephyrs with 3 consecutive RBI singles, Burt, Collie, and now Phillips. 2 down here in the first. Runners are on the corners, and the first pitch, and Adams fouls it back. The check of the runners, the pitch to the plate, and this one's a comebacker, and Rick's got it. He will throw on to first. In an inning in which the Zephyrs should not have scored, they get 3. And after 1 inning of play, the Msbl World Series on APN, it's a 55 Cactus Division championship game. Orioles trail now, the Zephyrs 3-2. Back at Maryvale Baseball Park, winter home of the Milwaukee Brewers, we head now to inning number 2. Pete Cesario, who had a tough first inning, gave up a couple of runs. Donnell Harris will start things off as the wind starts to pick up here at the ballpark on a beautiful Thursday morning. This October 30th. Grounded up the middle, and the shortstop Hall flares it. Nice play. Throw to first. Got him. Good play on both ends, and there's quickly one down here in the top of the second. Well, as the late, great Jerry Coleman would say, the broadcaster for the San Diego Padres, you can hang a star on that play. Now Emilio Gonzalez. He takes a strike all the way, 0-1. Pete pitched 12 innings in yesterday's action and said, give me the ball. Once again, Coach, here's a ground ball down to third. Blackburn. Gutierrez, and he got him, 2 down. Interesting, Pete pitched 3 innings to close it out in the first game, which would have been the quarterfinal game yesterday. Then went the distance, a road-going performance in the semifinal game for the Zephyrs, which put them in this championship game. Both these teams with records of 8 wins and 0 losses. David Thrall will try to keep the top of the second alive here for the Orioles, who trail it 3-2. Winner take all in this championship game, and the first pitch is inside for ball 1. That's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Good pitch. Outstanding location. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pete gave up 2 hits in the first. Didn't miss by much. That's a good location. Been a little better if it was 6 inches closer to the plate, but still a good idea. See if Thrall would go fishing. The 2-2 to David Thrall. Hammered foul down the left side. Pete looks in for the sign, the delivery. And that ball is hit into the air, right field. Antone Henley didn't have to move very far. The 2-handed grab will take care of the Orioles in the top of the second. 5 in a row set down by Pete Cesario as he heads to the dugout, and his team leads 3-2. Back at Maryvale, and Gabe Chavez will start things off. 9th hitter in the lineup for the Zephyrs, who put 3 runs up on the board in their bottom half of the first inning, and they lead by 1. Second inning of work for Rick Allwater. All the runs that he gave up in that first inning are earned runs, even though it was a 2-out, 2-on infield pop-up in which he got into a communication issue with his first baseman. The ball fell in for a hit, a run scored, and the subsequent 2 hits to follow produced the other 2 runs. That's where we stand. Zephyrs 3, Orioles 2. So Coleman takes care of the first batter the Zephyrs send up here in the second inning. They'll bring up the second baseman, Dan Taylor. Popped him up, and that's out of play. 0-1 the count to Dan, first time up, and he chops one slowly to the charging shortstop. He fields, he throws, got him at first base, 2 down. Otis Henley comes to the plate for the Zephyrs with 2 out and nobody on. Right-handed hitter slightly chokes up on the bat. He swings and he misses, and it's no balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter. Yeah, it's always fun to talk baseball, and had a chance to talk to Otis. We were talking about the importance of having a good, strong-armed, and aggressive right fielder, and well, maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that later. A comebacker and a 1-2-3 inning for Rick Allwater and the Orioles. As we head to inning number 3, the Orioles trail 3-2 on APN Video Sports. We're back at Maryvale Ballpark watching the 2014 Men's Senior Baseball League World Series. We are in the 55 Cactus Division. Winner take all championship game here, and the first pitch of the inning is a called strike. Pete Cesario in inning number 3 gave up 2 runs on 2 hits in the first. This is Bill Hanley, the leadoff hitter. who he struck out back in the first inning, but the ball had gotten away from the catcher. He would eventually score on a 2-run single by Randy Lash to deep left field. Orioles got out to a 2-0 lead, only to see the Zephyrs come up with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. So this is Mike Bergoglio. Apparently they've either added him to the bottom of the lineup, and he has just looked at a 3rd strike, and Mike is going to have words with our home plate umpire. So Baby Pumpkin heads back to the dugout, and he's none too happy. Right now, Frank Phillips talking to his pitcher. Hopefully everything's all right with Pete. He's settled down after a rocky first inning. And it will bring up Bill Hanley. 3 strikeouts for Pete through 2 1/3 innings in this championship game, the MSBL World Series. And that ball is hammered into right field. Antone Henley, who is playing deep and towards the line, will play it on a hop. Hector Villanueva digs in. Runner at first with 1 out. Tying run at first base as the Zephyrs in the field lead at 3-2. Championship action here for Maryvale. Runner goes on the first pitch. Hamill's throw to second. It's late. And a successful stolen base for the leadoff hitter of the Orioles, Bill Hanley. That is the first stolen base for the Orioles in this game. Orioles come out with the orange top, kind of in honor of Halloween, more so because they are wearing the Orioles, a.k.a. Baltimore Orioles uniforms, except they got the Dallas on the front of their jersey. The all-white Zephyrs, those are new uniforms donned by the Zephyrs this year, the all-white. They switched from the black and green uniforms from 2 years ago to the red tops last year, and then added the all-white. And Antone Henley told me before the game he hopes that the white uniforms bring him some luck. Let's see if they play small ball. Time granted as Cesario was in his windup. One out, runner at second base. And Villanueva pops it up. Cesario. Yes. 2 down. And he has set down 7 of the last 8 Orioles he's faced. But not out of the hot water yet. He's got a tough competitor in Baskerville coming up. 3rd place hitter in the lineup for the Orioles. And they have the tying run in scoring position at second base. Zephyrs lead 3-2. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. Cesario looks the runner back. He's in safely without a throw. Got him. Picked him off, and that is the inning. Hanley not too happy with the call out there at second base. And we head to the home half of the 3rd inning. Still a 1-run lead for South Bay. Now Antone Henley, and he goes after the first pitch and skies it to deep left field. That's trouble. That's a foul ball. That was a long run for the Orioles left fielder. Couldn't quite get there. Henley is 0 for 1. He grounded the shortstop to start the bottom half of the 1st inning for the Zephyrs. South Bay with a 3-2 lead. And a strike called. And it's quickly, no balls, 2 strikes on the Zephyrs leadoff hitter Antone Henley. Rick Allwater in his 3rd inning of work, the southpawer for the Orioles out of Dallas. Here's the pitch. And a ground ball up the middle. The second baseman Throws him out by a step and a half, and there's one down here in the bottom of the third. That'll bring up Dan Gutierrez, the second place hitter in Antone Henley's lineup here today. Gutierrez, a strikeout victim back in the 3-run first, if you remember, as that ball hit the bat. And that may very well be a fair ball. Now they're going to say foul. But you remember back in the first inning, the Zephyrs, the first two batters up in the inning, were retired. Then Blackburn was hit by a pitch, just barely. Scott Hall doubled. And then Norm Bird hit a pop-up on the infield between first base and the pitcher's mound. As that one's hammered back up the middle, and the shortstop will get there, but he will not have a play. That's an infield hit. So a one-out infield hit here for Dan Gutierrez. And I think he's going to have a courtesy runner because his hand hurts. Antone Henley will take over at first base as a courtesy runner, and now Dave Blackburn. But Blackburn got that 3-run inning started when he was hit by a pitch. The ball fell in. We were talking about that pop-up off the bat of Burt. The pitcher, it looked like, had called for the ball. He was going to try to make the catch, and then he thought the first baseman called him off, and he really didn't. It fell in for a hit. A run scored. Then Colley and Phillips followed up with RBI singles. There goes the runner. Here's a smash right at the shortstop, and he will tag Antone Henley to complete an unassisted double play. After 3, it's 3-2 Zephyrs. This is the 2014 Msbl World Series on APM. And we head now to the 4th inning of action in a 1-run affair. Orioles trail. First batter swings and pops it up third base side. Blackburn on the warning track near the dugout of the Orioles, and he hauls it in, 1 down. So Pete Cesario has set down now 10 of the last 11 that he has faced. Randy Lash, cleanup hitter, and he had 2 RBIs on a single to deep left field. Back in inning number 1 when the Orioles took a 2-0 lead. Nobody on with 1 out. In the air and out of play. Cesario goes into the windup. Here's the pitch. Tell you what, that didn't miss by much. So Randy Lash trying to keep his perfect day alive, and well, he does as he draws a walk with 1 out. And that's the first given up by Pete Cesario. Now Coleman. First pitch in there for a strike from Pete. So over the last 3 games, the Zephyrs have played, including 2 yesterday and this one. Throw over to first, not even close. Pete is now working in his 16th inning. And for what I'm about to say, I say in a complimentary sense. Cesario is definitely a throwback pitcher, as this one is hammered out into left field and deep, and Adams will not have a play on it. The throw will come in, and it will go to second, and not quite in time, and that's a double. So now the tying run is at third, the go-ahead run, and Dan Coleman at second for the manager, Mark Moore. Moore laid down a sacrifice back in the first inning. Second and third occupied with 1 out here in the 4th. And he pops it up on the infield. The third baseman will make the catch. A huge out for the Zephyrs defense. 2 down in the inning, still second and third. Jerry Mecca struck out looking his first time up on a call that he thought was where the ball may have been out of the strike zone. And he's got a chance to do something here, but he rolls one to the right side. Gabe Chavez, and the inning is over. So a good job by Pete Cesario. Otis Henley taking care of business at first base. We head to the home half of the fourth inning. It's 3-2 Zephyrs on APN. Scott Hall up there bunting and fouls off the first offering and is now in a 0-1 hole. Of course, Hall, who had a ringing double down the left field line his first time up, and he surprised everybody by trying to lay down a bunt single here to start things off in the bottom of the fourth. So the left-hander looks in for the sign. He comes to the plate and missed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. It'll be Hall, Burt, and Colley. The first 3 here for South Bay, who leads at 3-2. Of course, last night the San Francisco Giants defeated the Kansas City Royals. Game 7 of the World Series, their 3rd championship in 5 years. Here's a smash knocked down by the shortstop, and the throw on will get him at first base. Now Norm Burt. Yeah, we were talking about pinch hitting for Perez in that game last night against Bumgarner in the 9th. Probably like Hanahan. Two strikes, pitch, and a swing and a miss, and down he goes. Second strikeout for Allwater. 2 down in the inning, and here's Don Colley. Fastball inside, 1-0. All the scoring in this game came in the first inning. 2 runs for Dallas. 2-run hit by Lash. 3 RBI singles for the Zephyrs in the bottom of the first. A wave and a miss by Colley, 1-1. RBI hits by Norm Burt, Don Colley, and Big Frank Phillips. And it's really amazing when we were talking about the Giants winning Game 7 last night. And the 2 teams that made it to the World Series this year, and obviously both teams had a great run. I think they were well managed. And both teams were wild cards. High fly ball out of play. I think the interesting thing is that so many general managers try to build their team. They want those guys to hit 25 homers, and the game's changed here in the last couple of years. We're out of the steroid era for the most part, and it comes down to solid pitching, both bullpen and rotation. And excellent speed, I think, or excellent base running, I was going to say, and good defense. And no 2 teams, I don't think, were any better than the Giants and the Royals in those areas this year. There were better, maybe, starting rotations. And those 2 teams, have a chance to, because they didn't spend a lot of money on free agency, as this one's looped behind second, and a nice job there by David Thrall. We got 4 in the books. MSBL World Series 55 Cactus Championship. The Zephyrs lead it 3-2. Pete Cesario coming out for inning number 5 in this championship game. As we welcome you back to Maryvale Baseball Park, and we got a good one. 3-2 is the score. The team in white, the home team, leading the Orioles. And Pete delivers a called strike. Top of the 5th inning, South Bay with 3 in the home half of the first, took a 3-2 lead. Donnell Harris to start things off. 2-1 the count on him. He'll be followed by Gonzalez and Thrall. Pete Cesario has thrown 16 innings over the within the last 24 hours. Ground ball third, Blackburn. And Otis Henley stays on the bag, and that's out number 1. That'll bring up Emilio Gonzalez batting for the second time. He grounded out to third. His first and only time up back in the second. He hits one towards the shortstop. Scott Hall charges, sets, plants, goes to first, got him 2 down. So the Zephyrs flashing some leather here in the top of the 5th inning. 2 quick outs for Cesario. And David Thrall bats for the second time. Flied out to right field. Back in inning number 2. And he takes a first pitch called strike from Cesario. Zephyrs got 3 runs in the first. Orioles scored 2 in the top of the first. And we have had scoreless baseball since. Top of the 5th inning. Orioles batting trailing 3-2, and that one is apparently just a bit high. Two out, nobody on. Championship game, 55 Cactus. He's in his 17th inning of work over the last 2 days. And he's 2 strikes on Thrall and pitching. And a soft hit ground ball to the right side. Chavez. Over to Otis. And a 1-2-3 inning for the Zephyrs on defense. Owning a 3-2 lead. Frank Phillips to start things off. We go to the home half of the 5th inning. The Zephyrs at the plate leading at 3-2. And the first pitch inside for ball 1. Frank had a big 2-out, 2-run single. He went opposite field. And that gave the Zephyrs their 3-2 lead back in the first inning. Strike called, and it's 1-1. Of course, Frank, the manager of the Fort Worth Phillies, went to another championship game. They won it last year in the 55 Mountain Division. And Richie Figueroa shut down that team from Sacramento, the Tribe, last year 3-0. This year they played pretty much the same team. They were the Royals this year, the Sacramento Royals. And, well, the outcome was not in favor of the Phillies as Phillips goes down on strikes. But they made it to the championship nonetheless. Now the left fielder, Sam Adams. Curveball in there and a strike. 3 strikeouts for Rick Allwater. He has hit a batter. He has yet to walk a batter. And he's ahead 1 ball, or I should say no balls and 1 strike here in the 5th inning. That pitch just missed off the outside corner. And they evens up the count at 1-1. Phillips, Adams, Chavez, Taylor to follow. Bottom half of the 5th inning, championship play. A 3-2 lead for the Zephyrs. That one's in the dirt, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Adams bounced out 1-3, his only time up. That was back in inning number 1. And this one is launched into left field for a base hit. So Adams is aboard with a 1-out single. He stands down there at first base, and now Gabe Chavez coming to the plate. Runner at first with one out. Fastball, strike called. Letter high fastball outside corner. Good pitch by Rick Allwater. Strike two called. As that pitch nipped the outside corner, and it's 0-2 on Chavez. Orioles are down because of a missed pop-up on the infield with 2 out, which would have ended the inning, and the Orioles would have got out of that first inning unscathed. And then later, in the 3rd inning, they had a runner at second, their 3rd place hitter, and they had a runner picked off at second. So this game could easily be, 3-0 Orioles right now. And of course, when you make a mistake or a couple of mistakes in a championship game, it's magnified even more. But still anybody's ball game. Runner at first, 1 out, 2-strike pitch, and that is just high for a ball. Bill Hanley thought that was strike 3 called, so Chavez, new life. Throw over to first, runner back in safely. Really did not have a lead at all. Keeping a close eye on that runner at first with 1 out. And he just continues to work Chavez outside. Moved that pitch maybe another 6 inches off the plate than the previous, and it's 2-2. So let's see if he tries to run the fastball in on the hands of Chavez or if he just stays outside. The 2-2 pitch, another throw over to first. Rick Allwater. And he delivers, and that one way outside, and it's full. Full count. See if the runner is going on this 3-2 pitch. 1 out. He does not. And strike 3 called. So we got a pinch hitter here for Dan Taylor. And he's first pitch swinging, pops it up on the infield. The first baseman calls for it all the way, and the side is retired. So 5 in the books here from Maryvale Stadium. It's championship play. The Men's Senior Baseball League World Series, Zephyrs 3, Orioles 2. A pair of undefeated teams, 8 wins, no losses, battling for the 55 and over Cactus Division national title. It's a winner-take-all game here from Maryvale Baseball Park, the winter home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Jeff Lowry with APN Sports. And another inning of work for starter Pete Cesario. Bergoglio is the first batter, and he fouls it off. Mike was called out on strikes back in the 3rd inning. Pete has struck out 3. He has walked 1. As we go to the top of the 6th inning, and South Bay leading Dallas 3-2. A ball and a strike to Mike. That is a fair ball, and what a throw by Blackburn, and what a pickup down at the hot corner, 1 down. And a good job by Gutierrez at first base. Dave Blackburn, also a pretty good pitcher too. So your 1-out hitter is left-handed hitting Bill Hanley. He is struck out, he is singled and scored. Scored the first run of the ball game on the strikeout, and then last time up got a single in the 3rd, stole second, and then was picked off on a very close play down there at second base. taking all the way as he squares the bunt. And the count is even on the hard-hitting left-handed hitter. Zephyrs in the all-white. They lead at 3-2. Championship play. As I said, these two teams 8-0 coming in. They had to win 2 games yesterday. You had the semifinals and the quarterfinals yesterday. And here's a blast into right field, base hit. Things starting to heat up here. 81 degrees, our game time temperature. It was in the mid-70s, low 70s when we got here. Quick throw over to first, runner is back. It was breezy for a good, 3 or 4 innings to start this game, but the wind has settled down. 1 out, 1 on. Hector Villanueva bats for Dallas here in the top of the 6th inning. The Dallas Orioles. Hector has reached on a fielder's choice. He scored a run and popped up to the pitcher in his 2 plate appearances, so he is 0 for 2. Runner does not go, and they pitch out. Strike called. Good fastball on the inside part of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. And keeping a very close eye on Bill Hanley at first base. Hanley stole a base off Cesario the last time. And caught him leaning just a bit there, though he gets back safely. See if Villanueva can pull one through that right side with the first baseman holding the runner on. And instead, he lines one to shortstop. Scott has it, steps on the bag for 1, and the throw on to first not in time. Well, a great effort out there. Apparently, he caught that ball in the air. So out is Villanueva, 2 down here in the inning. And Baskerville, the 3rd place hitter in the lineup for the Orioles, with a chance to do something with 2 out and a runner at first. So this is a big, big at-bat here for both teams. A big out for the Zephyrs and Pete Cesario. Mike Baskerville has singled. He has popped up on the infield to the 3rd baseman. He's 1 for 2. 2 out runner at first. Orioles trail by 1 here in the top of the 6th. There goes the runner. Kind of a half pitch out, and they still cannot get the speedy Hanley. So both Orioles stolen bases here this morning have been due in part by Bill Hanley, who stands out there at second base. Representing the tying run. Let's see if Baskerville can come through. And the changeup is lifted in the air to center field, but Bird is there. He's under it. He's got it. And we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. A 3-2 Zephyrs lead. You're watching the 2014 MSBL World Series on APN. Well, here's Otis Henley leading things off here. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Zephyrs at the plate, and they lead by 1, 3-2. All the scoring came in the 1st inning. The Orioles got 2 in the top of the 1st. Zephyrs took the lead with 3 in the bottom of the 1st inning. All the runs are earned, and both starting pitchers are still in there. 6th inning of work for Rick Allwater. Good curveball in there. Broke off over the middle part of the plate. And Henley now in a hole at 0-2 in the pitch. And a looper out into right field. If it stays fair, it's trouble, and that's foul. Otis Henley will start it off. Pete Cesario, the starting pitcher, is going to be added to the bottom of the lineup. He's on deck. 0-2 pitch. Another inning of work for Bill Hanley behind the plate for the Orioles. As the World Series now entering the second half of the tournament. Pitch, and he got him swinging. 1 down. 5th punch out for Allwater. as he goes to work on his opposite number, and Pete Cesario, the starting pitcher for the Zephyrs. A one-run affair. Zephyrs on top. Home half of the 6th inning. Nobody on. 1 out. And the first pitch to him is swung on and missed. 5 strikeouts for Allwater. He's hit a batter. Is yet to walk a hitter. Pete taking his time, digging him in back there at home plate as he waits for the 0-1 pitch. And a swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. William Buckingham is swinging a bat on deck for the Zephyrs. And the 0-2 pitch. Tried to check his swing, and apparently he did. 1 ball, 2 strikes. RBIs, 2 for the Orioles by Lash. Both runs on that 2-run single back in the first. Phillips, Colley, and Burt with RBI hits for the Zephyrs, and that was all in the first inning. 3-2 Zephyrs as Pete Cesario. And now Pete, after falling down 0-2, has found the count even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two again. And a base hit left field for Pete. So Pete coming off the bench, a clean single to left field. That ball got up in the strike zone, and Pete knew exactly what to do with it. They're going to add another hitter to the bottom of the Zephyrs order, something that they usually do right around this time of the ball game. And this is 99 William Buckingham. Pretty good hitter. Good line drive hitter for the Zephyrs, and he'll bat with a runner at first and 1 out. The first pitch, and Buckingham takes under the knees, ball 1. Antone Henley is on deck, so that tells us that Henley will not be adding any more hitters to the bottom of the order here in the 6th. Here's a high, towering pop-up. Shallow left. The shortstop drifts out and makes the play. Battling the high sky and the sun, and an outstanding play by the Dallas shortstop. Of course, that's Randy Lash as Antone Henley bats for the 3rd time. He takes a strike. Antone looking for his first hit. He is grounded to short. He is grounded to second. Took a big wallop at that one and came up empty-handed. And it's 0-2 on the leadoff hitter. In the South Bay lineup, the Zephyrs with a 3-2 lead. We're in the bottom half of inning number 6. And the 0-2 pitch to Antone. And he grounds one to the right side, knocked down by the first baseman. He'll take it to the bag. And we are heading to inning number 7. From Maryvale Ballpark, the Zephyrs own a 1-run lead over the Orioles. And you're watching the 2014 Msbl World Series right here on APM Video Sports, our website, apmvideo.com. Well, it's the 7th inning of work for Pete Cesario, starting pitcher for the Zephyrs. He'll be facing 4, 5, and 6. Randy Lash, who had the 2-run single in the first inning to account for the only runs by the Orioles, Coleman and Moore. Our top of the 7th inning totals: 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 4 stranded for the leading South Bay Zephyrs. The Orioles, 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and 5 stranded. First pitch, high, ball 1. Jeff Lowry here, APM Video Sports. Our coverage of the 55 and over Cactus National Championship game, 1 and done. Winner take all game here from the winter home of the Brewers, Maryvale Ballpark in Phoenix. And we're so glad you could join us on our APN Gamecast presented by APM Video Sports. And he is 3-0 to the cleanup hitter for the Orioles, Should he get on, he represents the tying run for Dallas. Three and one. Well, we've mentioned it a couple of times. Those of you just joining us, Pete Cesario, the starting pitcher here for the Zephyrs, in his 7th inning of work, dealing the 3 and 1. And this one is grounded down to third, and Blackburn backs up on it nicely and gets a good strong throw. Tag the base, not in time. And now they want some help. They want the umpire to ask the home plate umpire. So Randy Lash ruled safe on the play. He'll be ruled an error. That's the first error of the ball game on a tough play by Blackburn down at third, but his throw was wide. A good throw, he would have had him. And Mike Baskerville is now the courtesy runner at first base. He's got pretty good speed. Dan Coleman has doubled. He's hit into a fielder's choice. Tying run at first, 3-2 Zephyrs, top of the 7th inning. And that ball gets away from the catcher. So an error and a pass ball, and the tying run's in scoring position. And because of the amount of innings that Cesario has thrown over the last 2 days, he closed out the quarterfinal yesterday with 3 good, strong innings, and then pitched a complete game in the semifinal game. He's thrown 6 innings here. So 18 innings, and Antone Henley has activity down in the bullpen. Dan Coleman trying to tie this thing up. A runner at second base, nobody out, top of the 7th inning. South Bay 3, Dallas hitting. They have 2. And another ball skips away. That'll be a wild pitch, and the runner is at third. Stay with us at the conclusion of this game. We'll have the ceremony down on the field. One of these teams will be crowned national champions before the day is over. So the tying run 90 feet away at third. And that's low, ball 4, and now you got Coleman at first base representing the go-ahead run for the Dallas Orioles. So it'll be interesting to see what the Orioles do here. You got first and third. They're really the only mission right now for the Orioles is that they got to get that runner in it from third base, get this game tied. And Moore was taken all the way. There is nobody out. I wouldn't imagine there would be a double steal in the makings with nobody out. Instead, they'll just go ahead and take the base. And now they're at second and third. No stolen base on the play, defensive indifference. Moore with a chance to give his team the lead. It would be the first time since the first inning. Pete could use a strikeout, a pop-up on the infield. Second and third, nobody out. And clinging to a 1-run lead, the pitch to Moore. Strike called, and it looked like it might have been about a foot outside. And Moore is really upset with our home plate umpire. So third strikeout of the day by Pete Cesario, but he is still not out of the hot water. And now Jerry Mecca. That's a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Good pitch. Good late movement on that fastball, and it's 0-1 on Mecca, looking for his first hit. Second and third, the Orioles trail 3-2. Tying run 90 feet away, the pitch, and a chopper to the right side. The second baseman looks back the runner and throws him out at first, 2 down. So on the drawn-in infield, the Zephyrs dodge another bullet. It's almost like a goal line defense here. They've got three outs to make the stop. So now Donnell Harris, who is grounded out in his 2 plate appearances today. Top of the 7th inning, tying run at third, go-ahead run at second. Orioles trail the Zephyrs 3-2 in this 55 Cactus Championship. The pitch, and that one's high and away, ball 1. Strike called, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Perfect pitch by Cesario. In his 7th inning of work, starting pitcher for the Zephyrs in this championship game. He sights a sign from his catcher Hamill, and the pitch. Swing and a miss at a sinker, and it's 1-2. He looks in for the sign. He comes set, the 1-2. And it's lined down the line and out of play to the right side. So we'll have another 1-2 count coming up here. See if they go back outside. Nope, they're setting up inside. 1-2 pitch. He got a lot of the plate, and that ball is hammered. And Antone Henley can't make the play. 1 run will score. The throw comes in, and 2 runs are in. And the Orioles have their 2nd lead of the ball game on a 2-run hit to right field, 4-3 Dallas. So now we've had 2 lead changes. Mark Hensley bats for the first time. He's pinch hitting for Emilio Gonzalez, who was 0 for 2. So you got a runner at first base. The Orioles lead 4-3 here in the top of the 7th inning. Still plenty of baseball left in this one. They have charged Antone Henley in right field with an error. It has been a 2-run inning for the Orioles. They got out to a 2-0 lead after the first half inning. South Bay got 3 earned runs, but remember that blooper that fell in between the pitcher and the first baseman in the first inning kind of led to those 3 runs. And now the Orioles lead 4-3. High drive, left field. Adams drifts back. Can he make the play? He will. Made it look easy. But the Zephyrs give up the lead. They give up 2. We head to the 7th inning stretch from Maryvale. 4-3 Dallas on APN. Maryvale Ballpark. We head now to the home half of inning number 7. Dan Gutierrez, and now the Zephyrs find themselves down a run. They were trailing 2-0 at the end of a half an inning of play. Got 3 in the first. Orioles get 2 on a ball hit out to right field with runners at second and third in the top of this inning. And, well, they lead it 4-3 as it will be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Antone Henley, Gutierrez, Blackburn, and Hall. In fact, there was 2 errors in that last inning. And even though 5 of the runs scored here today were on either a mental mistake or a physical error, it's been a great ball game. And it's still anybody's contest. 4-3 Baltimore. Or check that, Dallas. And that's a 4-pitch walk. Good eye there by Gutierrez. That is the first walk issued by Allwater. He has hit a batter. He has yielded 7 hits through 6+ innings. And just like that, the tying run is at the plate for Dave Blackburn, the third baseman. Antone Henley, the courtesy runner at first. This would be a golden time for the Zephyrs to swipe a base and stay out of the double play ball, but that doesn't matter as Blackburn singles to center field, and here's Antone challenging the arm, and he is in, safe sliding. And a quick throw back to second, and all hands are safe. So aggressive base running, and that's what it takes to win championships. Ask the Royals and the Giants And Antone Henley is at third. Blackburn taking second on the throw to the play, or on the throw to third, excuse me. And now the Zephyrs with the tying run at third, go-ahead run at second base, bottom of the seventh inning, trailing by one. And the hard-hitting shortstop, and he takes outside for ball one. Scott Hall doubled and scored in the first inning. He is grounded to short. 55 Cactus Championship game here of the Men's Senior Baseball League World Series on October 30th, 2014, Maryvale Stadium. And a strike. And it's 1-1. Allwater in his seventh inning of work. He is the starting pitcher here for the Orioles. The Dallas Orioles and the South Bay Zephyrs out of the Los Angeles area. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and a good job by Hanley keeping that ball in front. And for at least the time being, he saved a run. Again, a reminder, stay with us at the conclusion of this game. We will have the ceremony down on the field here at Maryvale Ballpark. 2 balls and 1 strike to count on the right-handed hitter. No out, 2 on, and he chops it foul. Scott trying to give the Zephyrs their second lead of the game. It would be our third lead change if he can drive in 2 with a base hit here. And that is low and in the dirt, and another outstanding play by the Dallas catcher. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, still nobody out. Allwater facing Scott Hall in the 2-2. Struck him out swinging. Excellent pitch by Allwater, his 6th punch out of the day. And the manager, Mark Moore, talking to his pitcher. Usually when the manager jogs out, that doesn't mean he's making a pitching change in most cases. So a break in the action here. 4-3 Orioles. They're in the field. Zephyrs have second and third with 1 out. We'll be back in a moment. So now the speedy Bird at the plate. Ground ball, left side. Antone hesitated, coming home, bobbled, throw, not in time. We're tied at 4. And you wonder if it was the tremendous speed of Burt, because the shortstop looked like he was going to first all the way. That may have distracted the shortstop. He bobbled the ball. It will be an error, but the run scores to tie it at 4 runs apiece. Don Collie bats for the 3rd time. RBI single back in the first. He's popped up to second. 1 for 2. Still runners at first and second. Still 1 out. 4-4 tied. Bottom of the 7th. Both pitchers have done a nice job out here today. This could easily be like a 2-0 ball game, Orioles. 6 of the runs that have scored here today have come either, like I said, off maybe you would call a mental mistake or off errors. And this one's hit foul down the right field line and out of play. The pitch. And a chopper to the shortstop. They will try to turn this one, and they drop the ball. Well, they're going to rule him out at second. So the second baseman, Thrall, dropped the ball on the exchange from the glove to the throwing hand. Fielder's choice goes 6-4, 2 outs here in the inning, and they're on the corners. So now Frank Phillips is getting set to hit. The good thing about that last play is that you got the speedy Bird off the bases. That guy can score. That guy's in scoring position when he comes to the plate. He's so fast. So the Zephyrs with first and third, 2 out. Ball 1. Frank had an opposite field line drive single to drive in the go-ahead run back in the first. He is struck out. And that one paints the outside part of the plate for a called strike. The check of the runner. And Allwater brings it plateward, and the runner was going on the pitch, and that'll be an easy swipe. So Scott Hall at second. You got a runner at third. 2 out. Zephyrs trying to push across the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Championship play. A walk, a single, a strikeout, an error, and a fielder's choice. Run coming in on the ground ball to the shortstop. And the pitch to Phillips. Bouncing ball left side. Eats up the third baseman, but he stays with it. And the throw across in time, and that will retire the side. But we are tied at 4. We head to the 8th. Maryvale Stadium. The Orioles and the South Bay Zephyrs. Top half of the 8th inning back here at Maryvale Ballpark in the 55 championship game. Orioles batting in a 4-4 tie. Centillas batting for the first time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Juan Centillas. And a looper over shortstop and caught. The great speed of Burt comes through, and he takes away a hit from Centillas. That'll bring up Mike for the 3rd time. He's looking for his first hit. He was robbed on a great play at third by Blackburn. And he lines this one past the shortstop and into left field, a base hit. So Bergoglio looks like he's going to stay right there. A 1-out single by Michael. And he represents the go-ahead run. First pitch called strike. Ritchell added to the bottom of the lineup. So he's up there with a runner at first base. 1 out. And the Orioles with a chance to push across a run. Mike faked the steal, and it's lined out into right center field, a base hit. Mike's on his horse heading to third. And the throw, a strong throw, is in time. What a play by Bird out in center field. What a tremendous throw. And it couldn't have come at a more clutch time. What a sensational throw. So Phillips and a break in the action as he comes to the mound. 4-4 tie, top of the 8th. So Pete's going to stay on, and the runner goes. It's a bunt, third base side. Blackburn, a long ways to go, fires to first, and the ball gets away from the first baseman. This is going to score the go-ahead run, and the Orioles lead it 5-4. So Hanley, a bunt single. And on the throwing error by Blackburn, the run will score. 2 down here in the top of the inning. A run is in. And Villanueva with a line drive, and he hit it right to the shortstop. So we are heading to the bottom of the 8th. The Zephyrs find themselves down for the 3rd time in this game as we go to the bottom of the 8th, trailing 5-4. Hey, you're getting a look at the Orioles starting pitcher, Rick Allwater. He's in his 8th inning of work. Well, both starting pitchers have done a nice job here today, and it looks like both of them may try to close this thing out. We have had 1 tie and 3 lead changes in this game, and the Orioles lead it by a score of 5-4, bottom of the 8th. So 8, 9, and 10 coming up here for the Zephyrs, trailing by 1. Sam Adams, the left fielder, leading it off. And he hammers one into left field, dropping fast, base hit. So the Zephyrs, every time it seems like the Orioles take the lead, they come right back, and this time a leadoff hit by the left fielder, Adams. Now Gabe Chavez for the third time this afternoon. Looking for his first hit. He is grounded to third. He was a strikeout victim, one of 6 here today by starting pitcher Rick Allwater. That's a strike, and it's 0-1. The Zephyrs have 4 runs on 8 hits. Allwater delivers, and another strike called inside corner. So he worked him outside, works him inside. Your guess is as good as mine where the next pitch is going to be. Both teams with 8 base hits in this championship game. 55 Cactus, the 0-2. And he got him on a straight change, and that's the first out of the inning. Well, here's Joe Thrailkill. He's batting for the second time today. Entered the game back in the 6th inning. Antone Henley, the manager, looking on from the third base coach's box. Donnell Harris holding the runner close at first base. Pitch to Joe. Strike called. It's 0-1. Allwater in his 8th inning of work for the Orioles. Runner started to go, and that fastball got away from him for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Curveball and a called strike, and Joe cannot believe the call. Big bending curveball. Mr. Hudson behind the plate says that was a strike. So 2 strikes. The pitch to Joe with a runner at first and 1 out. And there he goes, and it's lined out into center field. And a base hit. And they will be at first and second. So the bench play for the Zephyrs paying off. Thrailkill is on with a single to center field. First and second occupied, 1 out. So now Kevin Jacobs with a chance to drive in a run and tie this thing up. Strike called, and Jacobs thought it was inside. 0-1 the count. First and second. Orioles, orange top, white pants, leads at 5-4. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. 55 Cactus National Championship game. That's outside, 1-1. First time up for Jacobs. Infield playing a double play depth. The runners take their leads from first and second. And now he'll step off the mound. Base hits by Adams and Joe Thrailkill. The key here for the Zephyrs is stay out of that double play. Tying run at second, the pitch. Low. Oh, he called it a strike. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Allwater with 7 strikeouts in this game through 7 1/3 inning. Ahead of the count on pinch hitter Kevin Jacobs. Here's the pitch. And a ball hit out into right field, but playable. Runner will not tag, and there's 2 down. So Husky with the put out in right field, and here is Cesario. He had a base hit his last time up. He takes a strike. And Frank Phillips really jawing at this home plate umpire. No balls, 1 strike. Tying run at second, go ahead run at first. Starting pitcher Pete Cesario at the plate, and a swing and a miss. He had a good cut. Sinking pitch, 0-2. Allwater sights a sign. He's 2 strikes and pitching to Cesario. And the delivery is inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, things starting to heat up, not only on the field. Our temperature is up to 85 degrees. Thursday afternoon baseball, and the pitch, and he just got a piece of it and fouled it straight back. Another 2-strike pitch coming up. Bottom of the 8th. And a chopper to the left side. The shortstop, he charges. He will throw on to first, and the Orioles are out of the inning unscathed. So we head to the 9th from Maryvale Ballpark. The Orioles, 3 outs away from winning a national title. They lead at 5-4. We go to the top of the 9th inning back here at Maryvale Ballpark, 55 Cactus championship game, and it will be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Orioles, who lead at 5-4. Pete Cesario trying to go the distance. He's went 8 innings. He went 12 innings in yesterday's semifinal and quarterfinal games. Pitched 12 innings collectively, including a complete game win in the semifinals. And here in the championship game, he's looking to do the same and hoping that his Zephyrs will be able to score in the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Baskerville, Lash, and Coleman. And a line drive left and a leadoff single. Randy Lash, a 2-run single in the first. He's walked, he's reached on an error, and has scored a run. Strike called on the first pitch, 0-1. Dan Coleman on deck for the Orioles out of Dallas. The Dallas Orioles, the South Bay Zephyrs, heated rivals in this 55 Cactus division. In a winner-take-all game here, runner goes. It is lifted in the air. Bird out in the shallow center. May line up a throw to first, but the runner gets back, and that's the first out of the inning. Third baseman Dan Coleman for the 4th time at the plate. He has found his way on base every time he's reached on a fielder's choice, doubled and walked, and he had a run scored back in the 7th inning. And he swings and towers one to right field, medium depth, caught by the second baseman. He came out a long ways to haul that one in, and there's two down in the inning. So Chavez ranging far out into medium depth right field to haul that one in. 2 outs here in the inning, and Mark Moore, the manager, looking for his first hit of the contest. We're in the top of the 9th inning. The Orioles batting leading 5-4. There goes the runner and the throwdown, and it will not be in time. Third stolen base for the Orioles in this game, and that is a much needed insurance run out there. Let's see if Moore can deliver. The South Bay Zephyrs trailing 5-4, top of the 9th. Moore had a sacrifice bunt back in the first. He's popped out and struck out. Ready with the next offering. And it's out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runner at second. And it's low and outside, full count. Nobody warming up in the Zephyrs bullpen. It is Pete Cesario's. Obviously, it's up to him to finish this thing out. And his team is trailing by 1. Here's the 3-2 payoff pitch coming up to Moore, and he got him. 3rd strike, and the side is retired. So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Orioles clinging to a 1-run lead. This is the 55 and over Cactus National Championship game. Rick Allwater is out there for the ninth inning. He has scattered 8 hits, and he wants a complete game in this national championship game. William Buckingham will be the first batter to face Allwater here in the bottom of the ninth inning. The Zephyrs trail by 1. He was inserted into the lineup back in the 6th inning, and he popped up to the shortstop. Allwater's first pitch is inside corner, a called strike, 0-1. I'll tell you what, if I'm Allwater, I'm throwing every pitch right there if I'm getting that call. The 0-1 pitch comes back outside, and boy, I'll tell you what, if you're Buckingham right now, you've got to be complaining about that. He is giving the pitcher both sides of the plate. And now Buckingham, 0-2 the count against Rick Allwater in his 9th inning of work, the starting pitcher for the Orioles. And the windup in the delivery, and it is a dribbler up the line, and it's going to be a foul. 0-2 the count to Buckingham. That's high. Top of the order for the Zephyrs, waiting on deck in Antone Henley. The 1-2 pitch. And it's 2-2. Rick Allwater looking for his 8th punch out, and a chopper down to third, and looks like a foul ball. So Buckingham had to come he ran that one out, and it has to come all the way back to home plate. 2 strikes on him as he leads off the home half of the 9th inning, and his team trailing by 1, and here's the 2-strike pitch. And that's inside. Good eye. So Buckingham has fought back to a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Allwater delivers. And it's hammered up the middle and into center field. A leadoff single. He represents a tying run. So Buckingham is aboard at first base. This would be a good opportunity for Antone Henley to pick up his first hit of the day. He's 0 for 3. And he grounds one foul. We've had 3 lead changes in this game, 1 tie. Zephyrs trail by 1 here in the bottom of the 9th inning. The tying run at first, and that's inside, 1-1. Nine hits now in total for the Zephyrs. The pitch. Curveball, and it is just off the inside corner, 2-1. Runner takes his lead at first base. That's William Buckingham. Antone Henley at the plate. And he pops it foul, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Orioles scored twice in the first, twice in the 7th, took the 5-4 lead with 1 in the 8th. South Bay got 3 in the first and 1 in the 7th. The 2-2 to Antone Henley. And a little looper they're going to let fall. And they will go to first, and he's safe. The hesitation by Allwater cost the Orioles. Got everybody up off the bench on the Zephyr side, and I would imagine you'll see a bunt here from Gutierrez. So a huge play here in the making. You got the tying run at second. You have the go-ahead championship winning run at first. Gutierrez has singled and walked in 3 tries. In the first pitch, he bunts as expected, and it's foul. Now, Gabe Chavez might be telling him to bunt to the third base side because the pitcher almost looked like he was falling off the first base side of the mound. And he might get a base hit depending on how tight that third baseman is. I'm sure the bunt will be on again. Big hole on the left side as a shortstop now at second base gets back to his position. And he's swinging away, and he lines it to center field. It drops in, and Henley will be safe at second, and the bases are loaded. And now it's all up to Dave Blackburn, Zephyrs' third baseman. The long walk out by the manager Moore by the Orioles, and we got another break in the action. We have drama at Maryvale Stadium, and that is all for Allwater. He pitched an outstanding game, but the Zephyrs have the bases loaded here in the bottom of the ninth inning, and they trail by 1. New pitcher is right-hander Bob Williamson. He was the winning pitcher in the semifinal blowout for the Orioles, and now he is going to come on, inherit the bases loaded, and even more important than that, nobody out. The tying run at second and the winning run, or check that, the tying run at third and the winning run at second base. So Dave Blackburn coming up for the 4th time, the third baseman for the Zephyrs. He has been hit by a pitch, hit into a 6 unassisted double play, and he singled back in the 7th inning. .55 and over Cactus championship game. The first pitch to Blackburn is popped up on the infield. Foul territory. The catcher makes the catch, and a huge out for the Orioles, 1 down. Scott Hall, the shortstop, who had a big double back in the first inning. Since then, Scott has grounded to short and has struck out. And he lays down a bunt, first base side. Will there be a play at the plate? And the throw is in time if he held on to the ball, and he is out. Wow. And now Frank Phillips is arguing something. I don't know if this has anything to do with the catcher blocking the plate. So there's 2 outs in the inning. The Orioles haven't won it yet, but what a job by number 40 since coming on. He gets a pop-up and a fielder's choice play at the plate. Still a 1-run lead for the Orioles, and all the drama anyone can handle. Norm Bird had an RBI hit in the first, and he takes a curve inside for ball 1. He has struck out. He has reached on an error. Tying run at second, winning run at second, the pitch. High chopper on the left side. It gets through for a base hit. 1 run is going to score. Here comes a winning run home, and the throw is waiting on him. And once again, we got an incident at home plate with the catcher blocking home plate, and Antone Henley getting in the middle there. And the game is tied, and we are going into extra innings. What a throw by the left fielder. An extracurricular activity going on. These two teams, well, just to put it honestly, they don't like one another from last year's semifinal game. So we are heading to the 10th inning, 5-5 tie. And the man of the moment is Mr. Burt as he drives in the tying run. And back from Maryvale in just a moment. And look at this. Pete Cesario is coming out for his 10th inning. Gary Mecca is due as we go to the top of the 10th inning. 55 Cactus division. Do or die, winner take all championship game from Maryvale. 5-5 tie, and Mecca the first tire up, and he lines one to left field. It holds up for Sam Adams, and there's quickly one down. Jerry Mecca with a line drive out. He hit it hard, but right at the left fielder. Donnell Harris, first pitch, and a base hit to left field. Husky, the courtesy runner at first base. The batter is Hensley, 0 for 1. Fly to left his only time up, and he takes the ball outside. The Zephyrs 5, the Orioles 5, top of the 10th inning. Runner at first base with one man out. Strike called, and the count is even at 1-1. Pete Cesario on the mound. His 10th inning of work today. This is his 22nd inning of work in the last 24 hours. High pop up on the infield, and the second baseman will make the play for out number 2. Big out. Now here's Juan batting for the second time. He takes the first pitch, and it's going to be a called strike. You got a runner at first base, 2 out. Top of the 10th inning. One flied out to center field on a nice running catch out there by Burt. Cesario delivers, and the pitch is grounded foul, and now a strike away from getting out of this inning unscathed. Pete looks in for the sign. The 2-strike pitch. Outside, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes with a runner at first base. Runner goes, and it's grounded right back up the middle, knocked down by the second baseman. It goes out in the center field, and they're on first and second with 2 out. So a base hit for Centillas. He's at first. You got a runner at second. And now Bergoglio. For the 4th time, he's 1 for 3, and he grounds one down to third. Take it to the bag as the race is on, and Blackburn comes out on top. So the Zephyrs with another chance to take a championship. They go to the bottom of the 10th inning, tied at 5 apiece. Don Collie to start things off, bottom of the 10th inning. We are tied at 5. This is the 55 and over Cactus Division Championship. Fly ball down the right field line, and it is a foul ball for Don Collie. He had an RBI single all the way back in the first inning, and he's 1 for 3. Second inning of work for Bob Williamson, who did a nice job. Came in with the bases loaded and nobody out. Got the first 2 batters out, and then was struck for a base hit off the bat of Norm Burt, which produced the tying run, but the runner was thrown out at the plate, the trailing runner from second. And here's a smash into left, and that's a base hit. And Don Collie is the championship winning run at first base. Frank Phillips with a runner at first base. He squares the bunt and takes inside for ball 1. We have had 2 ties. We have had 3 lead changes in this game. Here's a bunt and a good one, and then it goes foul. Rick Allwater goes 8+, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. He hit a batter. 4 of the 5 runs he gave up were earned. He squares the bunt again, and this one to the third baseman, and he will play it to first. And threw it high, and almost got that one past the second baseman, Thrall covering. So a sacrifice bunt for Frank Phillips, and now the championship winning run is at second base. So they're going to go ahead and put on Sam Adams, who's 2 for 3. And I think this is a smart play. Now you got to force it any one of the 3 bases. So now second baseman Gabe Chavez up there with a chance to be the hero. Runners are at first and second with 1 out. Leadoff single by Collie. He's the winning run at second. The first pitch. And Chavez takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Zephyrs and the Orioles locked in a 5-5 tie. We are in the bottom of the 10th inning. It's an instant classic here on APM Video Sports. One ball, 1 strike. Chavez. Curveball outside, 2-1. Williamson. And now time called, as the catcher is now going to go out to the mound and talk to his pitcher for the moment. So the runners will take their lead at first and second. The pitch from Williamson. Swing and a miss. Breaking pitch down and away. Gabe Chavez has struck out twice, looking for his first hit of the contest. The 2-strike pitch is in the air, back of second base. The shortstop drifting out, and that is out number 2. So it's up the Thrall kill. Joe with a chance to win it. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Joe has singled in 2 tries since he came into the game midway through this contest. Winning run takes his lead at second. The curve is in there, and it's 0-2. So Williamson, 1 strike, 1 out away from sending this game into an 11th inning. So the right-hander sights a sign. Williamson delivering the thrill kill, and he loops one out into left field, and that ball's going to drop in. Here comes Scott Hall, the winning run to the plate. The throw is not in time, and the 2014 national champions are the South Bay Zephyrs. Here in the bottom of the 10th inning, David Thrillkill driving in Scott Hall from second base, and they win it in the bottom of the 10th inning, 6-5. Pete Cesario, who pitched 22 innings over the last 2 days, encompassing the quarter, the semifinal, and the finals. And going the distance here today, defeats an awfully tough Dallas Orioles team who deserves a lot of credit here in this 6-5 10-inning victory that gives the 55 and over Zephyrs the Cactus National Division Championship. Take nothing away from Jerry Mecca's team, but this was a team that, well, both teams had their chances, and in the end, it was the Zephyrs on top. This has been a presentation of APM Video Sports, Arizona's leader in sports video coverage. Jeff Lowry from Maryvale saying, so long, everybody.